Welcome to The Younger You, everyone. Today we're going to be following an incredible woman called Laurie, and she's doing a total body makeover. She wants to take her life back. But before we get to that, I'm joined by dual board certified aesthetic and plastic surgeon, Dr. Mizuguchi. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so let's get down to the nuts and bolts. What do you class as a total body makeover? So the audience at home can understand.
Well, basically, they usually are people that need more than one area of improvement, and they generally fall into three categories. Mothers who've gone through changes with pregnancy. The second would be weight loss patients. And the third is just a natural process of aging. So most commonly, of course, they're mothers, and many of you know what happens to mothers is that they go through a tremendous life-changing event over a very short period of time. And many of them go through that more than once, and they're left with several problems. And most of the time with mothers, it's their breast and their tummy area.
I got you. So let's talk about those categories, shall we? Now, some of the conversation is like mummy makeovers, and there's some of the terms that you hear thrown around outside. But let's talk about the procedures that you would commonly do for a full body makeover.
Generally for mommy makeovers, it's usually breast and tummy.
Yes.
For a weight loss patient, it may be completely different.
Yeah.
It could be their arms, it could be their thighs, it could be their tummy, it could be their breasts, it could be multiple parts of their body. But usually with mothers, it's breast and tummy.
Okay, well let's talk about Laurie. What were the procedures that you did on there?
So I did several procedures on Laurie. We did liposuction of her neck area.
Yeah.
We did a tummy tuck, and then liposuction of her hips and her back.
Wow. So is this common? Like you're a bit of a Superman on the day, I believe. You did it all in one day.
Yes.
Is this common procedure, or would you normally break this up?
No, it's extremely common. As you know, mothers are very busy, and they don't really have time to come back multiple times for different surgeries.
Yeah.
So it makes more sense if we're able to do it all at once, to do it at the same time. So the recovery is really, you're basically having one recovery as opposed to multiple recoveries.
Yeah.
And so there's a huge advantage of doing it, and most definitely you can do it safely, which is obviously the most important thing.
Okay, now, here's some great questions. What are some misconceptions out there when you're doing a total body makeover?
People come in with a lot more knowledge than the past, so they really come educated, so I don't really have any of that kind of issues anymore.
I think that's amazing. When you were saying that you did this all in one day, what are the expectations of the patient after the operation when it comes to downtime? Walk us through what your expectations are for them as well.
Okay, well that's a great question. You know, it really depends on what surgery they're getting.
Yeah.
And it's always whatever takes the longest to recover. And for most, if they do anything to their tummy area, so abdominoplasty or a tummy tuck type procedure, that requires 10 days to about 2 weeks to really resume most working type things. So that's the longest recovery. And others, such as your breast and maybe even like doing arm surgeries or liposuctions, it really takes a few days to recover to go back to work.
Really? Only a few days?
Yes.
Wow. But you're on light duties. We've got to be really clear on that one.
Right.
So
if you're lifting heavy stuff, yes, you should wait as long as you can. But even then, most of them will go back to work in about a week.
Okay, Dr. Mizuguchi, a lot of people want to also know scarring. There's obviously going to be scarring on the patient. How do you minimize that amount of scarring when you're having this sort of work done?
The most important thing, obviously, I wish this was magic and I didn't have to place any scars on my patients, but the best thing to do is put scars in a strategically good location so they're easily hidden. Yeah. Of course, with a tummy tuck, the scar goes all the way across your tummy, and you'll see this later. The key is to minimize tension during the surgery procedure so that the scarring isn't as bad. And of course, we give all kinds of scar treatments afterwards to help with the scars. But in general, scars heal great.
When someone comes in and sees you, their expectations of, hey, I want to have this done next week, is that always possible? Or there must be checks and balances beforehand?
Absolutely. It really depends on the health of that person and also at the stage of where they are. For example, if you're a weight loss patient, it really depends on where you are on that process. Yeah. In general, it takes several weeks to a month before we can get patients prepped for surgery.
Okay. What is something that you'd like everyone to know about before they come and see you, about their research, about the knowledge? What's some key points that you want people to look out for?
I think that the most important thing is to look at what is realistically possible. I can look at you and know what's possible, and I believe that I can achieve that for them. And so the most important thing is to really, when you do your research, is to look at the before and after pictures, and that can kind of give you a clue on what you're going to be. This is, you know, transforming you, not somebody else. So it's just making improvements on your body. And I think that's the most important thing to understand, that to have the realistic expectation.
I got you. Alrighty everyone, now we know a little bit more about the total body makeover. We're going to talk a little bit more about the specifics of the procedures. Stick with us, you're watching The Younger You. Welcome back to The Younger You, everyone. We're still on the couch having a good chat to double board certified aesthetic and plastic surgeon Dr. Mizuguchi, and we're talking all about Laurie's total body makeover. Okay, my friend, before the break, we got into that you did this in one operation. How long was that? Because we're talking, you did quite a few procedures.
Yes, Laurie's surgery took 5 hours, and 5 hours is a perfectly safe amount of time for anesthesia.
Okay, but people say that you could maybe have it done in separate operations. Why did you choose the one time?
Well, there's several advantages for doing surgery at one. Obviously, the biggest is time. So instead of coming back multiple visits for not only my office, but to the operating room, you're doing it all at once. And also, you're saving the number of times you're going under general anesthesia. And the most tricky time for anesthesia, and mind you, anesthesia is extremely safe. It's always when you're going under and when you're coming back out. Oh. So you're only doing that once when you do multiple procedures.
Okay. Explain to me a little bit about any risks associated with this type of surgery, because people want to know that part as well. They want to know the real truth. What are the risks of doing a tummy tuck?
So for a tummy tuck, the most common risk would be, in the past, would be what's called seroma, which is fluid formation.
Yes.
But I do a new type of tummy tuck. It's called a drainless tummy tuck, and where actually drains aren't even being used because there's very little seroma or fluid being formed.
Yes.
And so that's probably one of the most common problems.
Okay.
The second thing, obviously, everyone's always worried about is scarring. But again, because of this new technique that I use, there's less tension on the scars, so there's less scarring, so that's even less of a problem today.
Yes.
I hardly even talk to my patients about scars because scars they look so great today.
Yeah. Are we doing stitches on the inside, or are they dissolvable? How does that work?
They're closed in multiple layers, so
right.
Some of them are inside and some of them are outside.
Okay.
Obviously, the outside one we move several days after surgery.
Okay.
And the inner ones are all absorbable.
Okay. You ready to see what Laurie's been on about?
Absolutely.
All right. Let's find out the story about Laurie.
I am having done a tummy tuck, and mostly on my abdomen area and then in the back, so I'll do some liposuction as well. And then I'm having liposuction done under my chin. I am divorced about 10 years, and I'm a mother of a 22-year-old girl and an 18-year-old boy. I had my first child at 28, and I mean, I gained 50-some pounds with her, and then, you know, lost most of it. And then my second child, had him at 30 and gained 65 pounds with him and lost that again. So I was running in around the 145 mark for a long period of my adulthood. And I was fine with that and still not having to exercise. I mean, I was very lucky. My kids feel great about it. My 18-year-old and my 22-year-old both took pictures of me before I submitted them to the show, and they think it's great. I just told my son today, I was driving here to talk with you, and I just told my son today that I was having it done, and he was so excited for me. And my daughter, she's known the whole time, and I really haven't told that many people. So when I was having my pre-op with Dr. Mizuguchi, he went into a lot of detail about what I was having done and what I could expect after, how I would feel, and he really made me feel comfortable that everything was going to be great and I was going to do great. Trying to apply for this and go through this process has made me want to make some other changes too. And that's really was the kickstart. I need a kickstart. They say once you hit 40, everything kind of changes, and it definitely does. As I hit 50, I really feel like I've let myself go. I'm trying to get back into exercising. I want to get this done. I think it'll be great. It's my birthday present to myself. Turning 50 was made me realize that I had to do something about myself. You know, I'm the same person inside, but the external was impacting the internal. And so I need to be a better me. I'm ready to be a better me. Am I a person that's out there exercising all the time, that's doing the right things every bit of the day? No. I work too much, menopausal, weights just come on, and it's bothered me. I'm doing this for me. So if that's a wrong reason or not, you know, I think there's a lot of people that can relate to that. I don't feel as attractive as I used to feel. I see a body that doesn't make me happy. You know, 2 kids, but really it's just been in the last like 7 years or so. You know, just a middle-aged woman who's got a lot of stress and hormones, and fat just happens. If I wasn't having these procedures, in 5 years, I probably would hope that I would try to have done something. You know, I've got a big chapter this year. It's time to change. And so I'll do this and make it a moment to keep going and continue on.
Stay tuned, because when we come back, we are going to see Dr. Mizuguchi in action. For more information on The Younger You, or to rewatch this episode and others, head over to theyoungeryou.tv. The following footage contains actual surgical procedures. It may be too graphic for some viewers.
Most of my patients that are seeking a tummy tuck or abdominoplasty, they've usually have had some pregnancies. So an abdominoplasty addresses 3 issues. One is your fat, one is skin, excess skin, and lastly, your abdominal wall. While other procedures like liposuction can address fat. Okay, so the first thing I'm doing, I'm just making small little incisions so that I can put the tumescent fluid, which is fluid that helps during liposuction. It reduces pain postoperatively and helps to reduce bleeding. I'm just waiting for this fluid to come through. I'm gonna keep putting the fluid in. We're gonna let that sit in for a little bit. This is the fat removing machine right here. Our favorite. It's got 3 little holes on it. And I think you're gonna see a lot of nice fat come out. So you see all that yellow stuff that's coming out? That's beautiful fat. This is very, very standard what I'm doing. Just a lot of manual labor. We're still getting that nice yellow fat out. But for most people, you have to do something, whether it's exercise or somehow surgically repair that damaged abdominal wall. And the tummy tuck can address that. So we're starting a tummy tuck. So basically I just got through skin, now I'm getting through a little bit of the subcutaneous fatty layer. And pretty soon we're going to be right on her abdominal wall. All right, so now I'm down to the abdominal wall. You probably can't see it, but now I'm just going to elevate this flap. And basically, it's mostly a bloodless plane. All right, so I'm going to add some more fluid. I'm doing liposuction because there's some areas that I just can't get to when I'm doing a tummy tuck. So this will really help to contour her body. Peritoneal. Okay. So now I'm raising her flap, or continuing to raise her flap. Most of this part right here is going to be thrown away, so I'm not that concerned about this part. Most of this is going to get removed, as you can see. All right, so now I'm going to plicate her belly. You can see that it's kind of separated, so
Anita.
we want those brought back. So let's take the neurons. I'm just tightening the muscles here so that she'll have a flatter stomach. This will really help her get her in a better anatomical position for her, but she will continue to have to keep her core strong. One of the things that happens naturally with aging, but certainly pregnancy, weight changes can affect how much this gets stretched out. So now I'm just going to remove some more excess fat. So now I'm just going to remove this excess skin here. So you can see that it was like this before. Sitting like this. The hole for the belly button. Chris will put it over there. Roll it off. This is a barbed suture, and they're unidirectional, so they slide easily in one way. They slide easily in this direction, but if I go in this direction, I feel a little bit of grittiness, and you can see this is the smooth, and this is the barb. Now obviously the smooth ones, it doesn't matter which direction you go.
That's why we use this suture.
And so there are tiny, tiny, tiny little slits in these that helps it so that it has resistance when it's going in one direction. Great, great, great stitch. Okay, so I'm gonna put the first one. So you can see that it's anchored now. And this is called a progressive tension suture. And what's great about progressive tension suture is that it allows you not to have to use drains. Drains stay in anywhere from 10 to 14 days, sometimes longer. And the whole idea is to try to avoid seroma, which is a fluid collection. And the sad thing is that even when you use drains, sometimes patients still end up with a seroma. So we know that fluids caused most likely by shearing. So when everything's stuck down, there's going to be less shearing. So I'm just going to keep slowly advancing this flap and sewing it basically down. Now I'm going to bring out the belly button. We like that belly button somewhere in the middle. Now I'm just going to sew in the belly button.
Stay tuned, because when we come back, we are going to talk to Laurie and take a look at Laurie's before and after shots. Like us on Facebook and join in on the conversation. Welcome back to The Younger You, everyone. We're back on the couch with double board certified aesthetic and plastic surgeon Dr. Mizuguchi and Laurie to talk about her final results. But of course, everyone, you know this is my favorite part of the show. Let's take a look at Laurie's before and after shots. Alrighty, you see the before, you've now seen the afters. Take it away. How do you feel?
I feel great.
Do you?
Yeah, it's life-changing.
Is it what you expected?
Actually, I think it's better than what I expected. I didn't know what to expect.
Is that the type of conversation you hear?
Absolutely. You know, this is transforming, and I believe when I'm doing this, but sometimes, you know, it takes time for them to see, because they're the one who has to go through all the recovery process.
Yeah.
I don't have to. I just get to see her 6 months afterwards and see the humongous difference that I've made for her, and I really believe in it. But when I see her now, I'm just so happy.
You're wanting to regain your life. People have heard your story. Have you regained?
Yes, a lot. more. Yes, I'm still working on it.
What are you working on?
I'm working on putting more time for me in. So I've, been going to workout strength training twice a week, walking, doing more stuff for me that that I didn't give time to before.
Why did you want it?
Because I turned 50 and I'm shaking my life up a little bit. Changed my job, moving to a different location, and it was time to do something for me.
What did you see when you looked in the mirror?
I saw someone who had gained too much weight that had never had to worry about what they ate before. And so I was really dissatisfied. Felt unsexy. I felt embarrassed and ashamed.
They're big words, embarrassed and ashamed. When you say such big words like, I was, unhappy, I was depressed, I was, the parts where you were, the women and men sitting at home who will be calling this incredible surgeon
Hope so.
and saying, I want what Laurie had, what do you say to them when they have those thoughts that you had?
I hope they could get the power and feel the power to go make a difference and change their life.
Following up on what Laurie just said, what do you say?
In order to change your life, you have to take some kind of step forward, and it can happen in multiple different ways. And sometimes you just need to improve the way you look and feel before you can make that first step forward, okay? And when you do that, everything else kind of falls into place, and you kind of find that one little thing that was missing all your life, and it just makes things so much easier to accomplish.
When you do that for them, what do you think? Because you get a lot of kudos from people who go, thank you for turning my life around.
Well, I will tell you one thing. I tell all my patients that this is not a singular effort, that this is a teamwork process, in that I have to do the best that I can to help her become who she wants to be, and she has to do the best that she can so she can be the person that she wants to be. And when that happens together, that's when the results are the absolute best.
Any regrets?
None.
What do you want done now?
Really?
Yeah.
I already talked to him about it. For all,
No,
for
you
all
can
fat.
tell us.
For all fat.
Okay.
That's a hard thing to get rid of.
Okay. So, do you think we need more work done, Doctor? Are we ready for season 2 on Miss Laurie?
Yeah.
You will come back looking like this thin. There'll be nothing left of you. We'll be like Laurie who?
I need to have some curves, though.
Oh, really?
Yes, keep some curves.
I got you.
Yeah.
What would you have done differently?
Wow, that's a great question. I don't think I would have done anything differently. I was really surprised and happy.
And I wanted to know very quickly, all the men and women sitting out there, Dr. Mizuguchi, same type of downtime, same type of procedures for men and women, apart from, of course, breast implants for a total body makeover?
For difference between men and women?
Yeah.
Yes, they're very similar. Obviously, even men get some type of breast surgery sometimes. They may need to have some type of reduction type surgery. So, but typically with men, it's more on their tummy area.
Yeah.
Okay, with women, it is more the breast, the tummy, sometimes the hip area. So they can be a little bit different, but in general, they're about the same type.
Alrighty. Well, we really appreciate the time that you took to do this journey. How long was it in total? 5, 6 months?
It'll be 5 months.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Are
Yes.
you back in a swimsuit?
Yeah.
Good.
Great.
That's what we
Sure
like to hear.
am.
Thank you so much, both of you. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. If you are like Laurie and have done all the work and still aren't happy with the way that you look, maybe some or all of these procedures are right for you. But remember, nothing is more attractive than a beautiful heart. For more information about the show, visit our website at theyoungeryou.tv. I'm going to see you next week. Coming up next week on The Younger You, Carrie realised she was losing fullness in her face and decided to opt for a permanent fat transfer with Dr. Jared Nims.